The number one thing I hear from men who want to quit porn is that they feel they can do it themselves. Keyword feel. They feel as if they can get through this addiction on their own. Little do they know that any addiction takes lots of accountability to break. No one can break their alcohol addiction or any addiction on their own. They need people fighting for them in their corner. They need a mentor. They need people that care for them and are willing to hold them accountable. From my experience, keeping this pornography addiction to myself was the worst idea that I could have ever done. It amplified the problem. As soon as I would watch, I would be like, oh, no one knew. No one knows, Harley. You can just keep watching. Just watch again. Might as well. You didn't tell anyone, so no one knows. It didn't even happen. Don't worry about it. And that just makes the problem 10 times worse, because now that when you finally are like, man, I gotta admit, you now have to admit to so much more. And the power of having someone in your corner that you're accountable to regularly, that's important. Like, you can't solve the problem alone. Like, I'm curious what makes people say that. Like, the previous data that of the men that I talk with, where they're like, oh, I can just solve it on my own. I don't need help. And it's like, well, the previous data that you've explained does not support this hypothesis. Feeling as if you can break the addiction on your own is a feeling, but it's a feeling that's not rooted in truth. The difference between the top 1% of men and the rest is that they take action quickly when they know they have a problem. It's like any man that you see that's successful that you admire, they've had problems in their life. But the difference is that they have mentioned to themselves and others, keyword others, that this was a problem that was hurting them. Example, Terry Crews. You see Terry Crews out on the internet explaining that he had a problem. All these men might look up to him and say, well, Terry Crews is awesome. And then they see how vulnerable he is, and now he's helped so many people. And I am certain that that has helped him a ton. That's what's been helpful for me. I've had this problem. I look into the camera, I tell the world, and I tell my friends and my family and my girlfriend that I used to struggle. And because I'm a person who's vulnerable and open, I've been able to move on from this addiction. So many men I know are just not vulnerable at all. And they say, I don't need to join a program and be vulnerable. And I'm like, you're totally right. You don't need to do anything. You can stay on the bottom of the hierarchy of men and just continue to watch and continue to know that you have a problem and continue to not have any deep relationships. It's like no woman wants a man where they are always wondering, what is going on? Something is fishy. Something smells off. It's like women know. Trust me, they do. It's like I've helped men of all walks of life, whether that's single and wanting to find a woman, dating and wanting to keep their relationship going, or married and wanting to continue their marriage and not get a divorce. But they all have the same problem, and that's emotional intelligence. They are not willing to be vulnerable. People that are vulnerable understand that that's the only strategy to get through a problem. And many women I know have that emotional intelligence built into them. And that's why I see them solving their problems in their groups and being vocal about their struggles. And, think of any relationship. The woman is consistently venting about their problems. That is the most therapeutic thing you can do, is to be vulnerable. So many men that I talk with are not emotionally intelligent and are not vulnerable. But I must tell you, vulnerability is the only way you can get through this. Vulnerability equals strength. There's no way around it. I know it's unfortunate, but that's what it takes to be a 1% man. You need to feel what is hard and wrong in your heart and open up about it. As soon as you open up, life's just is way less gray, because no longer are you holding the weight of the world on your shoulders. And all of a sudden, you have an insane community of people that are rooting you on. Just like me, I am rooting you on as well. So, take action, men. If you feel this is a problem in your heart, you gotta open up.